Good day. And well, we expected this, didn't we? So the front tray is the compost from 10-12 pots of borlotti beans. The back tray is compost from 2 times 15 modular trays, and not a single bit of germination seen at all. Very, very bizarre. Really quite bizarre. I'm quite glad though that we have quite a few soft fruit that I have harvested to cheer up my day anyway. That's most of the broad bean plants removed from the broad bean bed. The one that's still wrapped is the one that we're saving seed from, so I'm going to leave that in. I think as there's still some tomato plants left by the communal shed, I'm going to put tomato plants into this bed, so time to get the broad beans out. Where I have tugged on the broad bean plant and the roots have stayed in the ground, I'll just leave those roots in the ground because they've got nitrogen nodules on them, which will be great for anything that's growing afterwards, i.e. the tomatoes. And with this pile here, what I'm going to do is cut off any of the roots and put them back onto the top of the ground there. Then the stems, I'm going to harvest any beans that are still to be harvested. And then I'm going to give them a really good shake to make sure that any ladybirds that are on the stalks, which are many ladybirds, have a chance to get away from the stalks before I put them into the compost tomorrow. So I'm going to give them a shake now. That will get most of the ladybirds off. And then I'm just going to lay them at the end of the bed. And then tomorrow I'll chop these up and put them into a compost bin. But yeah, I think time to do that and get other things in this case, tomatoes. This is the pile of spent broad bean stalks, broad bean plants. There's still, I'm sure I've seen, oh yeah, it's a ladybird. Oh, there's a ladybird there, another one there. So still a few, even though I've harvested and given everything a good shake. And I was intending to get this bed sorted today. I've taken out the string and the posts that were the bamboo canes that were supporting the broad beans, but I need to be careful where I put my feet, because look, still got another one there, one on the ground there. You might, oh, can you see that one on the ground there? I think they're moving off. Oh look, that's a pupa on its way. There's a ladybird there, another one there. So I've been very careful that when I've been taking the string out and the canes, I've been treading on these boards and not treading on any ladybirds. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do is leave this for tomorrow, and then hopefully those ladybirds that are on the ground there will get away to something else and go and find something else to feast on. And hopefully I'll be able to cut up those and put them into the hexagonal compost bin tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, and so these are, hopefully you can see those. So this is the root of the broad bean plant, and hopefully you can see those white nodules on the root. So that's nitrogen and is obviously good for the soil. So where they've been left in the ground, they've been left in the ground. Where they came off when I pulled them up, I've cracked them off the plant and we'll just leave them on the top of the ground. Yeah, but yeah, actually, as I look, there's plenty of ladybirds around here, so yeah, I'm not going to tread on that bed today. I see over there, you most probably won't be able to see, but I've disturbed a red ant nest over there, which I'm not too bothered about. And I haven't been bitten so far, which is great. And final little harvest of the remaining broad beans. I picked these up at the communal shed, and there must be about 12 plants I think in there, so I'll most probably do that at around £5 and just pay that into the association funds, because it's sort of donation time, if you see what I mean. So yeah, I don't really know what these are. I know there's one at the back with a label over there, which is San Marzano, but I'm just going to treat them all as indeterminate rather than bush. I think most of them will be indeterminate. So that's how I'm going to treat them. And first of all, I'm going to give them a good water. I doubt you'll be able to see on screen, but it has started to drizzle. And I thought it started to drizzle actually as I was coming down here. It was spitting then, and now it is actually drizzling. It's very light still, but you can certainly feel it on your skin. And I sort of hope it's going to get heavier, because some water from the sky would be lovely. We're due rain tomorrow, not today, but certainly I'll be happy if it does come early. Well, that was a bit of an itty bitty piece for this first segment of this week's A Week at the Plot. So it's Tuesday now, and yeah, that drizzle is definitely getting heavier. I would carry on and do things here, and hopefully I'll be back later, but it's just coming up to the time where I need to get back home, do Richard's lunch, and then I may be back later. I wanted to get those tomatoes from the communal shed. They're quite happy at the side here, and we'll look about getting those in tomorrow or the next day, depending upon how I get on with that bed where we've taken the broad beans out of. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure the ladybirds will have moved off by tomorrow, so I'll be able to get in there and do a bit of tidying, a bit of hand weeding, and just a bit of sort of forking over. And the compost that I've taken out from the borlotti beans that didn't germinate, that is going to go onto that bed, most probably with some chicken manure pellets as well. And that will be quite a good sort of basis for the tomatoes going in there. There's quite a lot of tomatoes to go in there, I think, but yeah, I'll just sort of, could I put some of the tomatoes between the squash? Maybe I could put 3 or 4 in there, because the squash of course are going to be growing along the ground, aren't they, rather than growing up. Will that have a propensity to bring about blight? Maybe. Anyway, you know what, I'm going to see about that another day. I tell you what, I'm going to link here to Vivi's garden video of when she visited after 2 weeks away from YouTube, not from her plot. I sat and watched that video and I applauded Vivi. I really applauded her, and I went, good on you, girl, for getting there and doing what you've done, because the transformation of her site in those 2 weeks, where she wasn't doing YouTube videos, she was concentrating on the beds and getting them ready and getting things in, it's paid so many dividends for her. I mean, I just looked in amazement, in awe, as the Queen of the Gardens absolutely showed us how to do it. I mean, really did. And I know Vivi gets some stick, and I don't really understand why. You know, we know her really well. And you know, I talk to her regularly, but I said to her yesterday when I was talking to her, I literally watched that video, I applauded her and said, good on you, woman, good on you, girl, for getting all of that done. It was awe-inspiring. It was awesome and inspiring. Absolutely. So well done, Vivi. I mean, yeah, just full marks. Can't wait till I see it in person, whenever that may be. Fingers crossed, not too long away. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to leave it here for this bit. Will I be back later? Maybe. If I am back later, there'll be another segment. Or I think it's stopped drizzling. It's stopped drizzling now. Maybe I will be back later. Anyway, what am I going to do? I'm going to say goodbye for now. May see you later. If not, I'll see you in a day or so. Bye. Oh, I must take that fruit home as well. Yummy. Bye. Good day. I finally got round to harvesting the seeds of the turnips and this Mizuna. So this is a Mizuna that overwintered and it's now been harvested, or the seeds have been harvested from it, which is great. I need to do a bit of tidying up of detritus, which I'll do a bit later. Still a lot of ladybirds around on the Mizuna and a few on the turnips. So just like with the broad beans the other day, I've given them a really good shake before putting into a paper bag. If we come over here, this is coriander. Again, hopefully we'll be saving seeds from this. And then back over here to this lettuce, which I don't know what type of lettuce it is. I think it's one we were given by another plot holder, and again this is about to flower, and we will save seeds from this as well because it really did well over the winter. So yeah, a lot of thought on seed saving going on at the moment. I've just noticed that these two lavender are out. Plenty of bumblebees on them. And also, look at that. I'm not sure whether it's a butterfly or a moth, but it's definitely enjoying the lavender. The other one at the corner is, oh no, it is out. Let's have a look at that. Yes, this one is out and again being enjoyed by butterflies and mainly bumblebees. There's a couple of honeybees in there, but not too many. Glorious, glorious sight that is. And then thinking about seed saving again, this was the Ladybird poppy, this single plant here, and we can see that these are beginning to dry. We can't because it's not in focus. Yeah, beginning to dry now. The seeds sort of come out just under here. So I think I'm going to just leave those for a few more days and then harvest those as well. Only because I don't have another paper bag. Look at that. Can you see it? Oh no. I'm going to have to look it up, but yeah, that was rather lovely. And we had lots of rain last night. And we got one bean, what's that, a Golden Gate, almost at the top of the frame. Yeah, clearly they're doing well. All at different speeds, but getting there. The Golden Gate, which is these, is first. Then I think the runners, which are over there, are second. And then the Madeira Maroon are in the middle here, and they're definitely a bit slower. We come around here. So these are the Golden Gate. You can see they're well up there. These are Madeira Maroon. So they're all about 5 foot. And then I think these are all runners, which in most cases are up to the crossbar. Lots of ladybirds, look. Oh, that one fell off. As I was going into the shed, I noticed these. A squash. Butternut, I think. Butternut squash. I think I know who they're from. I think those butternuts are from my ex-plot neighbour at the community gardens, which of course is quite a few years ago now. So she moved over, I think about 3, maybe 3.5 years ago. So this will be her 4th year. She's in her 4th year, I think. And she moved over there for a couple of years after I did. But she used to be my next door neighbour at the community gardens. And when we were at the gate sale the other day, I said to her, oh, I'm looking for squash and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to buy some. And she said, well, actually, I've got 2 butternuts that you can have. And, oh, ladybird. And I have to say, I did one of her butternuts a couple of years ago and it did really, really well. So fingers crossed. But yes, the name of the game today has been seed saving. So I have cut off the seed heads, as you can see, stuffed them into this paper bag. I always use the paper bag. Could be a bit bigger than this, but this one is the size it is. And these are our golden turnips. So I put the month and the year that they were harvested. And I will just leave these in the shed here, drying out a bit more. And what I will do is when they're fully dry, I'll put my hand in and really scrunch everything around. And then what will happen is the pods will open, the seeds will drop, and I'll be able to take the pods and the stalks out. So, and then at the bottom, we'll end up with maybe a couple of tablespoons of seeds from this big pack. So yeah, that's our golden turnips. And then we've got our Mizuna month and year. Again, exactly the same. Some of these are a bit greener. Most at the bottom are quite dry. You can see some of them are really quite dry. So exactly the same thing. I'm going to leave them in the shed. It doesn't get wet in here. It'll be nice and warm and dry. So this whole bag will dry out, which is great. What I'm not doing is closing the bag in any way, because there are creatures in here. There's a couple of ladybirds, there's a couple of spiders. So by not closing the bag and just leaving it open, that allows time for the creatures to get out. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Just put them there. I've also cut up our garlic. So I've cut the tops off and I've trimmed most of the root off, and we've got, I don't know, what's it, just sort of around, I don't know, about 20 in there, I think. Again, I prefer paper bags for storing things. Paper or cotton are much better. For seeds, paper bags are really much better. So these garlic are going home with me now, which will be lovely. And just a word of warning as well, I've got some netting in the shed here which I meant to put away a couple of weeks ago. And even though I know this netting is absolutely fine, when you've got something like fabric, like I've got the umbrella here, particularly things like that, particularly fabrics, do be careful that at this time of year wasps haven't gone in and built a nest in them, because they love that sort of fabric to be able to cling on to. And we had an incident with one of our very, not, I was going to say very old, I don't mean that, a person who has been growing and gardening. In fact, he's a professional gardener. We had an incident a couple of days ago where she had a hat in her shed, and she went to pull down her hat, and a wasp's nest had been formed inside the hat, and she got stung by the wasps a couple of times. She's absolutely fine now, but it was a bit of a shock. I don't know if any of you remember my wasp attack, but I'll link to it here. Yeah, we did a video about me being stung, was it 15, 16 times or something like that a few years ago. The video is quite amusing, but it was not amusing being stung at the time, I have to say. But yeah, you know, be wary of fabrics and things that you might be storing in your shed, because they are a great base in which to build nests, including false widow spiders as well, though they generally prefer the dark. So yeah, maybe this shed is a bit light for them. Haven't seen any, oh no, there have been false widows here, but I haven't seen any in the last couple of months. I did actually get bitten by a false widow the other day when I was moving some crates. But yeah, it didn't react for me, which is great. But if you do get bitten by a false widow, and if it does react, then, you know, do seek medical advice. And the same with wasp stings. You know, antihistamine is obviously great, but if you really have a bad reaction, then obviously take yourself off to a doctor or A&E, or certainly a chemist. Anyway, there we are rambling. Yes, so seed saving has been the name of the game today. We had lots of rain last night. I'm not sure what time it arrived, but it actually woke me up. It was so heavy. And then when I got up at about 5:30 this morning, it was still spitting. So we've had plenty of rain, and you can see that things on the plot have benefited from that rain or water from the skies, as I was talking about the other day. We'll have a look at things in a day or so's time, but I'm pleased to say that the tomatoes that I put in are beginning to go for it. But I've still got the other tomatoes to put into the broad bean bed, so that will have to wait for another day. Right, I'm going to stop waffling. I've been waffling for 7 minutes. See you again very soon. I was going to say speak to you again very soon. And of course I will be speaking to you very soon and seeing you very soon. Yeah, look, my phone's even giving up. It's telling me that the battery's about to die. So I better go. See you very soon. Bye. Good day. I've taken those brassicas out because they were getting quite large and bitter. They have largely gone to chickens, so that's a sort of thank you for the eggs that we get from our fellow plot holders here. Absolutely lovely. So yeah, the chickens will enjoy those. And I've put in tomatoes. So there's tomatoes, how many in there? There's 13 in there. Well, there's 12 in at the moment. I'll come back and talk about that one in a moment. And then we come over here. We knew we were going to put tomatoes into the broad bean bed, which is still the broad bean bed because of this broad bean, that is, yeah. So yeah, tomatoes have gone in here. So we've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in 12 in here. There's 2 little ones there. I don't really know what variety these are. They're mainly from the sharing table and from what didn't sell at the gate sale last week. So yeah, they have gone in, and they've gone in pretty deep. Certainly sort of, hopefully mainly 6 inches deeper than they were in the pots. And I'm just going to give them a really good water, but let them be for a week so that the winds can buffet them a bit and they can strengthen. If I feel that some might be a bit weak, maybe this one, I might put a bamboo next to it just to strengthen it, and that one there maybe as well. But yeah, so bit by bit the beds are being done. Beds that I sort of didn't think would be done. Down here, this is the last remaining cabbage. It's Portuguese cabbage that I took out. The root came off, and you know, chickens love roots, to grub around in the root. So I'm just putting this into our compost, but it's here at the moment with the broad beans and with a poppy just to cut up, and then that's going to go in the hexagonal compost bin, as I said previously. But if we come back over here, I just want to show you this tomato. Let me go around here. Oh, hopefully you can see that it's at some point broken here. It's still growing, but has broken here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plant it really deeply, and I'm going to plant it most probably up to about here. I'm going to plant it deeply so that that wound down there, which sort of has healed over, continues to have roots growing out of it, which there is just there, you might be able to see. And hopefully this plant will then straighten up at the top and do well. So yeah, I'm in this with this one. I'm planting it really quite deeply, maybe even up to there if I can get it that low, maybe, or that high rather, 8 inches deeper than it currently is. Let me just get on and see how I do with this one. Quite a few brassica stalks in here, or brassica roots rather. I'm making sure that where the base is going to be is going to have soft is not going to be compacted, is going to be sort of loose so that roots can get down. I think that will do. I know you can't see that, but hopefully you can see it's quite deep. Now let's take this out of the pot. Get the compost right around, take those lower leaves off. Really firm it in. Level off the ground so that water doesn't pool, and then hopefully this, well, hopefully the whole thing will grow, and hopefully this will start straightening up. Fingers crossed. Now of course everything needs a really good water. I've just looked at these beans that I sowed a few weeks ago. These were going to be for the plant sale. I think these must be rock and core, or are they Venice? I'm not sure. I think those must be Venice because only a few of our Venice germinated. 2 out of about 30 germinated. So I think these must be rock and core. So I'm now going to put these in where the Venice haven't germinated. A bit of a Bung It In day. Also, oh, got trapped over there. Go over there. There's a butternut, you can just see it there, which I'm going to just weed this area and bung it in here. So yeah, a bit of a Bung It In day. Those beans are now in along here. So they're replacing the, well, this is a Venice, and over here is a Venice, but all the others I think are rock and core, which is fine. I popped that butternut squash in. There's 2 other squash there. More weeding to do, but that will wait for another day. It's gone very, very breezy. I have sorted that end bed. I saw some mirabilis, I think it is, on the sharing table, so I've taken that. Not the sharing table, it was up by the community, so it's from the gate sale. So I weeded this bed and put the mirabilis in. Also I put some calendula in from up on the other side of the plot, and also some lickness in there. And sort of the same this side, I've given it a weed and put some calendula in, some lickness and the mirabilis. So I'm going to give those a good water before I go home. But yeah, suddenly things are beginning to look a little tidier. Well, that's it for this final segment of A Week at the Plot, and therefore that's it for A Week at the Plot for this week. And I have to say, I'm really pleased with what I have managed to get done today. It's taken me 4.5 hours, but actually I've had quite a nice balance of getting stuff done and talking to other plot holders here. So it's been a really nice mix of that over the last 4.5 hours. So it's 12:30 now. I'm going to go home because I'm feeling a little bit hungry. So I'm looking forward to lunch. I've just picked more lettuce to take home with me. And I might be back here later, or I might read my book. I don't know. I've started the last book in the series, the Mr. Mercedes trilogy of Stephen King. So I've started that and I'm rather enjoying it. I'm only about 10 pages in and already enjoying it. So I might just read this afternoon. Or if the weather stays rather lovely, because it's nice and warm, yet there's that cooling breeze, which is nice, I might come down and do some more weeding and tidying, because there's much to do. But I sort of feel getting those 2 end beds done and getting the tomatoes into the broad bean bed and then deciding to do more tomatoes in the brassica bed and take the brassicas out, that has really sort of calmed my mind a bit. Then I go to the other side of the plot and just in front of me here, and I think, oh, there's lots to do, but that's fine. That's fine. I will take inspiration from Vivi and get it done over a period of time. So yeah, if you've got any questions or comments, please do leave them down below. And as per usual, if you're on Planet Vegetaria, you'll see segments of a week at the plot through the week. Otherwise, another upload will be along in a week's time of the full week of a week at the plot. See you very soon. Happy growing. Oh, there's a magpie. Oh, it's on the post. There's a magpie on the post. Do you think I'm talking to you? Well, I was talking to it then, wasn't I? Yeah. Anyway, right, I'm going to go. See you very soon and happy growing. Bye. Oh, there's another magpie. Oh, there's 2 on the post now. Oh dear. Honestly, I get so easily distracted. Bye.